How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Friday. It's a happy Friday out there. Hope you're about to go into an amazing weekend. It's been a great week. It's been a long week. Did we just the conference did happen this week. Literally, it feels like it happened a week or two ago. But yeah, we just wrapped up PulseX conference Monday, Tuesday. Haven't streamed since on this channel. I just hopped on Whiskey Wednesday over DJ Roundtable for like 20 minutes or so and talked about it there. Already clipped it out and shared too. So if you want to get a roundup of that, actually have some interesting questions around what you learned about conferences and different stuff like that. We talked about Hex Week as well. Hex Week coming up in August. Yeah, next month, just about a month from today, pretty much a month and a few days. So we got more stuff coming up, more events, a lot of great stuff coming on. And we got some green. I've heard they're telling me there's been some green candles. So that's actually a beautiful breeze blowing. The wind blowing in our faces here that are like, wake up, it's all season. Is it? Maybe all season. Join all season. So fun. Anyways, without further ado, welcome back to the show, Crypto Kong and Twinkie. How's it going, gents?
What is up?
All season.
How you guys doing?
All season, maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we are. Looks like we are back a little bit. So
we are back.
Yeah, doing well, man. Doing well. How about yourself, Max? I know you've had quite the week.
I could not remember that PulseX conference was this week. That's how it's just 100 miles an hour, man. I'm like, hey, God, it was this week. It feels like it was last week or so. But yeah, just taking no time off for that. Got a little bit of a breather, but yeah, just back in action, working on a few different projects, some more onboarding material, some more marketing stuff. Marketing project I mentioned a while back that I haven't talked much about yet. That's going as well. Not the mega marketing project. That's a totally different thing, but. Yeah, just so many bullish things out there, so much energy, so much just cool stuff to talk about. And we're going to cover a ton today. So everyone out there watching, like you're going to get your money's worth today. That $0 is going to go real far. How about you guys? How have you been? How's post-conference? Both of you participated. Appreciate that as well. How's things been?
It's been pretty good. No, I love the conference a lot. Like I was going to say from a speaker's perspective and like watchers, listeners' perspective, like I enjoyed it. It looks like it did extremely well. Richard, that was an awesome, like, I think he retweeted it and stuff like that. I don't know if I expected that or anything like that, but that was pretty cool to see too.
I was hopeful. I didn't expect it, but they did the last one. I'm like, I think he probably will. I didn't know when. And then I saw the views go from 4K. Yeah, right before Kong came on, actually. It went from 4 to 14. And I was like, wait, I bet he tweeted it. And I checked in like 1 minute ago or so. Yeah.
Yeah, you told me the views had shot up, and I was like, oh well, no pressure there, like
yeah.
No expectation of benefits from the work of others, right?
No expectation that Richard would do it. I'm like, you know what? He's been talking a lot more, doing a lot of community stuff, talking to everyone. So the first time too, he never has actually at RHMax once that I'm aware of. They ever actually tweeted me and said, people go follow this guy. And so that was a first for me too. I was like, whoa, that's actually like from his Twitter, he not only tweeted the conference, but then at RHMax was go follow him if you want for more conference stuff or more events or something like that. I'm like, let's go. And then literally I got like 1,500, I want to say in the last, or at least those 2 days, or since I don't know, over 1,000. I would say over 1,000, 1,200 new followers on X.
Nice.
After he did that.
It's really good.
I was like, let's go. I went from like 10K to almost 12K now. So I like it. Let's go. Pretty fun.
Awesome. And Max, thanks for finding a way to lever me in last minute on the Aubrey de Grey panel. I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of his work. I've actually read his book, Ending Aging. So I'm very familiar with his work. So thanks. That was very much appreciated, man.
Of course. No, I'm glad. Anyone who's interested in longevity, if it's, the schedule is a schedule, but with the panel side, a lot of people, they sign up and they either don't show up or they kind of pick and choose, and that's fine too. So luckily we even had space on there because I'm a little, when we get to like 8, 9, 10 people, I get a little nervous with StreamYard. I'm like, I don't want to be like, yeah, come on in. And then I'm like, I can't add you, that type of thing. But luckily, like we had a perfect number. I feel like we had 8 people or so on that one with Aubrey too, at most with me. And so it worked out. So thank you for being interested. I'm amazed that you read his book, and there's so many people in the community who are aligned, not only for the tech, the price performance, but for the longevity and saving, making an impact on the world like that. That's really cool to see. Just want to shout out, by the way, too, on anyone who doesn't think conferences matter. I did this poll and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the poll. It's kind of hard to do these polls too, because there's this chance there's going to be a very low number. It's going to suck. And going into it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I don't care. I don't care if it's like 4 people. I'm going to do it. So I did it, and 61. So this is just like a rough calculation. Again, the people who clicked yes to this, assuming that's accurate, even if half of it's accurate, that's still a bunch of people. I didn't have any expectations for it, how many we're going to do, but I would be surprised to have more than 20 or 30. But I looked at this, and there's still time on the poll. Over 60 people. I think that was worth it. That's pretty cool.
So, slightly different way of looking at that. Let's put a little bit of the sales and marketing spin on that. We'll slightly round up just to make the numbers easier to work with. I think like technically it's 13.99% of your respondents were onboarded.
Okay.
So let's just round up and say 15. 15% sounds like a nice number.
Yeah, I mean that's a few. I mean, well, okay. I guess a different lens of looking at it. One is like, I don't know why I want to question people clicking yes for actually on board or not. Maybe that's too of a pessimistic view. I guess the other side would be like, how many people didn't see this poll but were on board and didn't click it? It could be 100 people. Could be 150 people.
Absolutely.
So, I'm always like that. I'm not trying to go for. I'm kind of like the conservative estimate too. But even if it's 50 people, whatever it is, those are people that came in after a 2-day event. Like, that's it. It wasn't me. They haven't been watching me for years. I mean, I assume not. It's just people who saw a conference, saw people getting together, are interested in crypto, thought we had something interesting to say, and actually saw the poll, responded, and that many people. So yeah, everyone out there is like, oh, this doesn't work. It's like, I don't know. Let me know when I don't know who else has onboarded 60 people in it for a 2-day event. I mean, other than I bet a lot of the conferences we do, and maybe Maddie and stuff in the past just did that, but it doesn't happen very often. I think it's just a testament to how these events work and how they are good for marketing and how we can keep building a community with them. So I was impressed with the numbers myself.
Yeah, and to your point, right? That percentage is respondents, right? Like at least as claimed on the survey. The people who haven't seen it or other silent onboards would not necessarily be reflected there. So again, kudos to you and the efforts that you've put into it. I know that's not insignificant undertaking to put all that together. So well done, sir.
We're gonna do it again and again and again. You already got some more stuff lined up, but it's not even. This is not to like brag on me for like putting in the work or anything. It's literally to be like, hey, people, if you want to go onboard people, do events, keep doing the meetups. I want to inspire more conferences. I want there to be conferences every month. Let's do a conference like every other month. I'm not going to throw one every other month, but well, as of now, at least my decision. But like, I want to inspire more people to do these events because there is an ROI. Like you see the ROI right there. That's why I want to do the poll in the first place. So yes, I'm glad it went well, and we're gonna do it again. Hex Week, baby, coming up.
Yeah. So along those lines, I know yourself, myself, Kong, we've had sort of this kind of background thread on some AI stuff we've been talking about. Was talking with someone else today just to kind of weave a few threads together. Somebody was asking like, hey, what are some AI tools that potentially can be used to help me with my plumbing business? I was like, Max told me about Manus. Check this out, right? And like, I want a website for these things. I want a website that's going to put this together and I'll allow them to respond and say, hey, like, contact me for services and like, and over the span of the conversation, I had it running in the background. Let me see if I can pull it up over here just to get that rocking. And like, it was like literally over the span of like a 5-10 minute conversation that this was being assembled in the background just as sort of a quick proof of concept. Just patiently waiting for it to load in the background. Cool. And I'll just do a quick screen share here, if you would be so kind.
Of course. The Manus is game changer. I don't know. I feel like I keep saying it every time there's opportunity, but it is something else. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and I was swapping some messages with Charlie and some other folks today. I was saying like, hey, this is the floor. It's only going to get better and better and better. So in this case, the prompt I gave, I was like, all right, give me a quick proof of concept for a plumbing HVAC website where I can request a callback on it. So if I click request a callback, it'll give me the pop-up. This would get dumped to my email. And so as long as I'm on the ball, I'll give that person a quick callback Boom. This person doesn't have to have any particular coding experience or website experience. You don't even have to use one of those, what you see is what you get editors. Just kind of give it a nebulous direction and let it run. So yeah, pretty neat. So thanks for the tip off on that one.
Yeah. I feel like when you did that, I was like, call center website. That could be cool too.
So maybe one of the things you can do is get your analytics now that you're a week out, or maybe give it another week, right? And start throwing that into some of these AI tools. Hey, based on this, kind of what is my prime responding, like prime reactive audience? And then make a decision. Okay, do you want to grow other segments of your audience or focus in on that one particular segment and just try to find a way to get more of that piece of the pie to bring people in the door? And then all of a sudden, okay, let me apply this to conference. Like, where's my highest viewers, just like viewers per hour, and then correlate that to guests or topics or whatever else. Yeah, a lot of different ways you can start to leverage your different tools to continue to drive the overall reach. And I don't want to say like, I'll say quality in the sense of the attributes of the conference or the presentation relative to the audience you're targeting.
I think YouTube Analytics has a lot of great metrics and stuff on there, and you can see based on like when people drop off, how long they stayed on the certain segments and stuff. Because I haven't even thought about doing that for the conference. So yeah, that's actually. I know I'm going to get a big spike as soon as RH tweeted it. gotta get that anomaly.
Boo! Gotta get RH to get the retweet every time.
Yeah, but how long did they stay on after that? Which one did they like? Yeah, that kind of thing. AI. Give yourself an edge. Amazing stuff. I can't say enough about that. Like, just it's sweet. Wanted to pull this up here too, real quick. Too, Peter Thiel. He apparently likes crypto. PayPal Mafia. If you don't know him, Google him. He's got a bunch of stuff. I've been following him for years. Venture capitalists, all kinds of cool stuff. People like him, don't like him, whatever. But I remember he was at the Bitcoin conference a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And he was like, this was when Bitcoin was doing so well and all that. And he talked about Bitcoin a little bit there. And he said it's like a canary in the coal mine for US debt or something like that too. But anyways, I saw that he had apparently invested into the BitMine, which is like the treasury thing with ETH and Tom Lee that people may have seen on CNBC and stuff lately. And I'm like, whoa, Peter Thiel's getting into crypto now. This could be interesting. So I've been following this one account. Let me put this account real quick. I've been following this ETH. Yeah, Crypto Goose. Let me put this in here real quick for people who are interested in some really good ETH stuff.
I always thought this might be a little off topic, but I thought Peter Thiel also like helped start Ethereum in a way with Vitalik.
He gave Vitalik the scholarship, the drop out of college. I think that's what it was, thing. Right? Yeah. So let's do Peter Thiel Ethereum. Yeah, this was now when I do that, it calls that Vitalik. That would be the better search term. Recently co-invested. What? Did he recently? I didn't know he invested in Polymarket too. Okay. Wow.
I didn't know that either. That's very interesting.
I'm sure he's got his hands in anything and everything.
Yeah, but I think he did the Thiel. Maybe was it Vitalik did the Thiel scholarship, something like that, where he dropped out of college to go start Ethereum. Maybe that's where it started.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, 2014 Thiel awarded $100,000 to do that. Well, okay. Well, I didn't even think about that as framing too. So there you go. But like, I haven't seen him publicly talk about investing, other than maybe he said something like, I should have invested more in Bitcoin or crypto or something before. But now he's like literally taking a stake in ETH treasury stuff by Tom Lee's doing that. So bullish, guys, bullish. What have you guys been seeing? Oh yeah, this is the Crypto Gurus. They have a ton of different like bullish Ethereum stuff. I've been keeping up with the ETH price go up basically just by watching them, not even looking at the charts. And yeah, bulls.
All right, we're gonna take a way, like we're gonna take a wrong left turn in Albuquerque.
Andy shows up, by the way.
Hey, what's going on, Fast?
What is up, Fast?
Hey, guys.
Twinkie's about to take us to Albuquerque. Let's go.
Yeah. We're going to take a wrong left turn here. So, with respect to Peter Thiel,
and extras here as well. All right.
Yeah, you guys in the green room. Keep adding them.
How's it going, guys?
We're definitely going to
Albuquerque.
Good. You guys on for the ride?
So
we're here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know what people's stances are on like reptile people and aliens, but Peter Thiel, anagram for the reptile.
Peter Thiel, anagram. Is this something I should Google?
Hey, I guess it depends if you believe in like lizard people or not.
Oh, are you anti Peter Thiel? Or is that
I'm neither for nor against Peter Thiel. I'm neither for nor against the lizard. People. I'm neither for nor against the lizard people. I'm just open to possibilities.
It's true. I mean, I heard Obama was a lizard person too, but there's a video if you search for it.
Is it fair to say that Peter Thiel is possibly the godfather of Silicon Valley?
I think that's fair.
You have to ask Grok. Grok would know.
Not Grok. If I ask GPT, it'll tell me something else. Is that what you're saying? Grok would be based on Peter Thiel.
Yeah, Grok would be based.
It could be. Anyways, take us to Albuquerque. Helmet, are we going? Was that the Albuquerque one?
That was the detour, but it was Peter Thiel to lizard people.
Shout out to Albuquerque. I've been there before.
Shout out to lizard people.
They would be in the desert because of Albuquerque. I'm following it a little bit.
There we go. Yep. Well, sometimes my brain goes a little haywire. Anyway, so bullish news. Yeah, you beat me to it. Crypto Goose. They got on screen. I see you rocking with that. The Genius Act to be signed into law. I believe that signature just happened, or is like literally in the process of happening.
He didn't auto pin that one. Yeah, it looks like a signature. Good. Bullish for markets. Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act is the Crypto Week acts. Do we like the acts? What's I know not I've heard not good for DeFi, but good for pumps. You guys have an opinion on those?
Pumps for dollars, which pump into DeFi?
Yes.
I think it's both good and bad. I think the short term, it's really good news. It's bullish news. For the long term, I guess we'll have to see, but I'm more on the pessimistic side with that. But I don't know. Right now, crypto's still the Wild West, even with regulations, because they're not really like targeted in on a certain sector of cryptocurrency. So I think we're going to have to just wait and see till next cycle to see at what areas are they really going to buckle down on, and what areas they're going to let not free, but progress a little more until they decide to put rules on that sector as well.
I think obviously as part of the PulseChain community, we're against centralization, but governments are going to push for that. The upside of that is that's what leads to global adoption. So of course governments are going to try to control your money, but if you're here already, you're probably super early. By this time, next year, maybe they're going to be paying, government checks in crypto. We don't know. So regulation's bad, but massive worldwide adoption, good.
Makes it easier to buy PulseChain if crypto's easier to buy in general. Could be that.
Yeah.
What is the chances that we do wake up one day and they're like, yeah, there's some platform that just not even PulseChain specific. We have plenty of those so far too, and probably more to come. But there's some platform that's just like, hey, due to whatever integration now, anybody can buy crypto. Any crypto is plugged into all the dexes. It's plugged into all the centralized exchanges. It's just like this super crypto app that you can just buy stuff now. And then we start onboarding people through PulseChain and Hex through that too. It's like these white swan events. And it could happen, especially with some of the businesses that haven't been started yet or have been held back due to regulatory uncertainty and stuff. There's a lot of tech in the valley that may be coming out to help onboard crypto for sure.
Definitely.
Just want to remind everyone too. This was hard to. This is the hard to find Richard Hart 241,500 Bitcoin call. Is it a call? I need your guys' help on this. Is it a call or is it because he put a question mark? Is that a call or is that a soft call? I don't know.
Using a lot of question marks in the last 6 months. I think that's a cover your ass question mark.
But if it hits it, he's going to be like, call the top, call the top 2 years ago.
Yeah, there's no downside, right, to asking the question on that one.
That's true. It's very hard to, and you can't just search Richard Hart Bitcoin call. Like you got to be like, you got to remember the number, because I tried to find it before, other people trying to find it before too. It's like, man, it is. Yeah, I knew it was something 500. Literally, here's how I found it recently. I searched from Richard Hartwin, and then I was like, I know it's something specific. I know it's comma 500, and I kept doing a couple different ones, and then I did comma 500, and I found it. So pro tip out there using the X search. It kind of sucks, but that one found it.
Did he ever make an Ethereum call?
I don't, unless it's in here, I don't remember him making one. Let's see. I don't see anything in here. I don't remember him making one. Anybody else remember that?
Or a soft call?
I
Or whatever.
don't remember anything, him like price targeting Ethereum or anything like that.
I think it's safe to say he thinks Ethereum's going to go over $3,700.
What? Such a bad trade, Fast. Why are we not talking about that more? Such a bad. Look at that. Look, he bought the top. Why weren't we talking about that more? That's what's
when
important.
Ethereum is $6,000, will we be talking about it being a bad trade, or will we be talking about the $1 billion in the sack wallet?
Absolutely not. That's the whole point. Like everyone, I never understood talking about how it's a bad trade. Like the jury wasn't out on the trade forever. We have plenty of time. If you think Ethereum's going to run, it's not going to be like, it doesn't matter if you bought the local top if it goes up 3x after that. So I never understood the big deal with him buying at that time. Maybe those reasons he had to. Maybe it was liquidity. Maybe it was strategic. Maybe it was something to do with the case and all that stuff too. Like,
yeah,
maybe he only has access to like keys every 6 months. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, a lot of way to make money safer.
A lot of times, right? The words to describe the thing are based on the outcome. And I think of Sailor last cycle, just getting mocked relentlessly. Sailor's top blasting again. Fast forward a few years later, $30+ billion in profit. Who's laughing now? So give it a hot minute. Realistically speaking, maybe Richard is not always right, but I think history has proven he's always eventually right. So give him a little grace. Give him a hot minute here.
I'll say kind of
about the marketing already.
I'll say as well to kind of build on what Twinkie was saying, and even what Fast was saying as well, is like with trading in general, right? Like I think the time frame really matters in terms of in the short term it can look like a bad trade, but over the long run, which I think is what really what matters, right? It can turn around. And I think he did the right thing in terms of like he didn't sell the bottom. I don't think he was stressing it too much when Ethereum was dumping. Of course, it's probably not the best thing in the entire world. He probably wasn't, happy or anything like that. Maybe he was, I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, I think it's all about your time frame, right? So if you're looking at things on like a shorter lens, like of course, maybe it's not so great, but over the long run, I think the trade will prevail and it'll look like a good trade. So.
Does he? So what is the rumor too with, is it 1 million ETH or 500,000 ETH that people say Richard's got? I keep hearing both. 1 million ETH from adoption file keeps ringing in my head, but then I thought I looked it up and it was like 500,000. Anyone have any?
I'm not exactly sure.
Could be 1 million ETH. 1 million ETH sounds cool. And I see it in comments and stuff sometimes. 1 million ETH, but I can't quite track down where that came from. But I thought I did some research one day. It was 500,000. But either way, that's billions of dollars at current prices, right? Like what's 1 million ETH? It's got to be. Is that 3.6 billion or something?
Right thereabouts.
Yeah, that sounds right. Dude's rich.
No,
Bitcoin
that would be like
too?
30.
Is it 36? Let me do. Let's see, 3,600 times 1 million.
Yeah, no, that's like $30 billion.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is it?
Well, 3.6. No, you're right. 3.6.
3.6. Yeah. I was counting zeros. There's a lot of zeros once you get to billions, but yeah, I think it's 3.6. Once it gets past the zeros and million, you're like, what am I doing here? Come on. This is imaginary numbers. Like nobody really understands how big these numbers are. They're kind of unfathomable. Like trillion is not even, it's like an imaginary thing. Like nobody even knows what a trillion even looks like.
Totally.
It's crazy. Market's been pumping. I'm actually gonna look at the price chart today. This is unprecedented. I usually don't look at the prices at all. Even myself, I know something's pumping because on X I see something's pumping. I accidentally come across the bubble, and I have a hit on 7 days. That's not, there we go. Okay, 24 hours. Let's go. Anticlimactic. Had the 7 days on there, 24 hours. There's been some pumping. There's been a ton of Hex. I keep hearing Hex dumping, but then I see the price not go down that much and then even go up recently. Isn't that crazy? Anybody got some, like, there's been some major dumping on Hex recently, and it's still just, look at it. Crazy.
Yeah,
what do you
huge
think about
whale
that?
exited like millions of dollars, and it's still holding.
Like, who's buying it? Like, is this a community buying it up? Is this like the wisdom of the crowd type of like, hey, I'll take it. Like, what's whales exiting, community buying it up?
I mean, it's probably a
Believers.
little bit of everything. It's probably people who had stables or ETH on the sidelines waiting for maybe their profit margin to go up in ETH, and then they start going on to more risk on assets like PulseChain. But I think they were just probably trying to time the market, maybe just speculating. I think this is the time where we start to see like a significant uptrend.
You speculate that some of the recent sellers are rotating into ETH and that they'll rotate back.
Yes.
Yeah, this tweet here too. We've just seen the single biggest Hex redistribution event in history, with a single entity offloading 660 million Hex in less than 2 weeks, alongside several other wallets that have dumped hundreds of millions in either stablecoins or other PulseChain assets. Best guess would have been a billion Hex dumped. Wick down hard, 37% dump, nicely bounced. It's negative 20%. That was a day or two ago. That was yesterday. In dollar terms, barely blinked an eye. Bros, are we back? Hex cannot dump hard after that? A billion Hex? What?
I think it shows a lot of strength if people are like buying up the wick like that. Yeah, typically, I mean, if people aren't, if they weren't bullish on it, if they didn't want to buy it, you would likely just, there'd be no buyers in the market. You'd likely see the price get sold down more, right? I think it shows a lot of strength when you have price kind of getting wicked up off of some massive sells like that. It shows someone's willing and sitting there ready to take the opposite side of the trade, right? And kind of show their conviction a little bit as well. So
Yeah, guys are front running these whales dumping.
So crazy. Amazing. I like it. I'm not used to the resiliency of the price rank. I was like, oh, Hex is dumping. Okay. And then I'm looking, I'm like, I don't see it going down. I think I did look at the price rank like one time maybe. And I was like, where did it go? It's like up, 2.3%. Like, it's amazing.
We're all going to miss these prices for sure. I mean, like right now we're kind of getting like worn out by seeing these same prices and whatever, but man, it's going to be a whole different story in like 3 to 6 months in my opinion.
Yeah, we can keep repeating how bullish we are, and that even when the price is down, stay positive, all that. When does it become like, okay, for real, prices are going up, and like these sub penny prices of Hex, Pulse at 3.4 or 4 zeros, all that stuff. When does the time come? I mean, it sounds like maybe 3 to 6 months. Market's getting super bullish macro wise. Bunch of different debt stuff happening. We'll see the debt cycle. If you guys didn't catch Cairo Crypto, I think you did a really good video the other day on the debt cycle and all that stuff too. But it's almost like the community. It's like the complacency of like, yeah, I've heard this a million times already. But when it moves, man, like, I don't know, packing my bags. Like text.
My bags are majority packed. I might do some top ups here or there, but the bulk of my bags are packed at this stage.
DC AA. That's what I hear people do from time to time. Pop over to this one real quick too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying like one of your 15% new onboards, right? Now's a great time to buy if you don't have any bags.
New onboards. If you're watching RHMax.tv in this stream right now, and you want to know more about the Hex token, the PulseChain token, or the prices, or what the community is aligned for, the glory and the God candles, and the force, some people like to be a force for good in the world, all that stuff too. You came to the right place, because I got some people on this panel who know how to say smart things. Fast is like, I've already said all the smart stuff. All the smart stuff was at the conference like 3 days ago. You're running low on smart stuff. You got some coffee?
I got some coffee. Well, how about this for smart stuff? If you care about decentralization, if you want to learn how to be your own bank, if you care about privacy of your finances, PulseChain is for you.
I like that. I want that t-shirt. Those three things, and then PulseChain is for you with the tagline. I like it.
That's a short clip right there. Well said, Abdul. Well said.
Thank you.
I like this. Basically, by the way, they managed to get at PLS. Pretty cool. 3-letter Twitter X profile. I don't see that very often. Trump lining up Besant as Fed chair points to desire to lower rates. Besant lowest rate. Inflation takes off. Bond market 1.5%. Fed rate closer to 2%. Spread and institutions borrow for free. Bonds carry trade be similar money printing, except it would be the Fed lowering rates and giving liquidity to banks to borrow and buy bonds. Not being talked about. Logical points being Trump wants to pile out. Besant end. Crypto should explode much, much higher if that happens. You think Fed chair's going 10K ETH, 15K ETH? What do you guys want? I guess Besant's face on the power money printer. What do you guys want to happen? Like, what is a good price go up scenario this year?
I've got a lot of mixed feelings about this. I think there's what's good for my bags and there's what's good for the public. And at times they're not always the same thing. Like people are like, oh, Bitcoin's going to $1 million, right quick or whatever. All right. Think about what that means for the US dollar and the currency, like depending on how quickly that happens. We get latched on to the nominal value of things. We don't think about the buying power of things in a lot of cases, right? It's just, in a lot of cases, certainly here in the US, my experience has been that aspect of financial education is not really a thing for many people. So I think as far as aspects of the blockchain and cryptocurrency sector is educating people, hey, this is a way to build and preserve aspects of your wealth. If you're trying to level up, it's only going to get harder and harder from what I can see. So if you're looking for some key opportunities and going back to what Fast was saying, like you're early if you're entering this space. If you look at the history of Richard Hart and what he's done with his solutions over time, individually and then for people, I think you're foolish to bet against him, quite frankly. So I'd say roll the dice, take a position, get to know some folks in the community, and come along for the ride.
I'll say as well in terms of Ethereum, I have no idea where it's going to end up. I think it's easy, especially with some of the recent, not recent as in like the past few weeks, Ethereum has been doing extremely well, right? But maybe in the past like months or 3 months or so, performance has not been so great. So I think it's easy to kind of call out like bearish price targets and stuff like this. I'm not sure where ETH is going to end up, but what I do think is that the higher Bitcoin price can go, if we continue to see this trend of the dominance kind of falling and the altcoins kind of picking up that dominance from Bitcoin, then I could see, $6,000, $7,000, maybe even $8,000 Ethereum plus. I think it does depend on how high Bitcoin lands, right? So I'll say like perhaps if Bitcoin is in the 200s or 250s or 241, like Richard was saying, I think could be quite plausible to see a $10,000 Ethereum. But yeah, I do think it depends on like the broader market and how high kind of Bitcoin could run itself too. So
when ETH Bitcoin ratio more, did it go up a lot recently too? Yeah, what is this, 1 day, 1 week? Yeah, 25%.
It's been reversing.
Yeah, so the 1 year. Okay.
The ratio looks like it had a little bit of a bottom. I was looking at, just for a comparison, the chart structure of ETH BTC, the whole like bottom pattern looks like a bottom pattern. Like it looks like how Bitcoin bottomed at 15,500 or whatever it was during the FTX crash. Like I've always said, I think markets don't typically like to V bottom. They usually have like some sort of capitulation, maybe some sideways action, and then you start to see the price kind of move off those lows, off that like low level. Very similar setup to what I was seeing on the ETH BTC ratio with kind of Ethereum, looking like it hit a bottom and I'm not calling the bottom or anything like that, but it definitely does look like it found at least a local low, and it's starting to have a bit of a reversal from there. So
61% dominance, down from 65. I mean, where do we go? Like, is this, if we're getting the all season, how far do we need to go down? It's got to be 50%, or is there just so much money coming in it doesn't matter? Like, you don't think?
I think once we hit 50, 55%, like I think that's when we'll be in the promised land a little bit. So I do think there could be more room for like dominance to drop, maybe even as low as like, I don't know, 40, 45%, like sub 50%, that type of range. But I think once we get around there, like, I think our altcoins will be booming. So I'll say one other thing about the dominance too is on the weekly chart, it's printed 3 red candles in a row, and we're on the 4th red candle that's going to close in 2 days and 5 hours. This pretty much for this entire run up we've seen on the dominance, and I'll kind of just put it in perspective. It's been about over 1,000 days, so about 1,036 days roughly, that dominance has been pretty much on an uptrend, right? Bitcoin outperforming all the altcoins. In that past 1,036 days, we haven't seen pretty much more than 2 red candles in a row. I think the last time we saw 3 was during the Trump rally, and that was 3 candles, and then you had pretty much a reversal, and dominance made new all-time highs. So now, again, like I don't think just purely looking off like candlesticks or anything like that is like one and done, all be all analysis. But I do think it goes to show that there is a little bit of perhaps a little bit more of a trend change happening now than what we've seen previously on dominance. So
also, guys, if you're watching new, how do you buy the Pulse chain? How do you buy the Hex? How do you buy the tokens? LibertySwap.fi is one of the ones who've been putting in work to make this a lot easier. They have a different wallet connect thing, as well as that EIP. What did they say? Somebody mentioned EIP something that enables some of this different usability UI stuff as well on that side. And if you go to pulsechain.com and you scroll down, we were on the price charts, but if you just scroll down a little bit, ready to get started, buy with bank account, a couple of different options there. Bridges, swap, click this button to connect to PulseChain. I got some new onboarding materials producing to come out soon as well for actually that are based around Liberty Swap. Because if you go to Liberty, actually, yeah. So if you scroll down a little bit, it'll be like, here's the different options and stuff. Click Liberty Swap, bunch of different ways to do it, bank account, getting from other chains, all that. But they allow you to do from base. So you can take USDC from base, from Ethereum, from BSC, from Arbitrum as well, USDC and the USDT from BSC as well, to bridge over to PulseChain. So pretty cool. You can bridge over, get different coins. They support a whole bunch of stuff there too. So got some more onboarding materials and stuff to come out on this. But I love the fact that we can come from other chains and just make it easier for people to come over to greatest ecosystem on Earth.
It's most of these transactions are more like cross-chain swaps, I think, eh?
Under the hood,
actually, from Arbitrum, it's swapping from Arbitrum to PulseChain mostly.
I'm actually not sure under the hood how it works. I don't know if they said they have docs. I have to go through the docs and see, but some sort of cross-chain bridge swap deal. I tried to look at this the other day. Yeah, and Liberty Swap, if you ever want to come on the show, technically dive into this. I would love to do that as well, core architecture.
Maybe speak at a conference. We know a guy.
If you'd love to have you to Hex. Well, Hex Week is going to be heavily focused on Hex, but I'm sure you can, if you tell us how to buy Hex through this, Hex is on here. There you go. There's your in. You can be like, buying Hex, how does it work under the hood? I would love to see that talk, actually. Buying Hex under the hood with Liberty Swap. So, not exactly sure, but it's magic. It's magic fast and doable. It's just
what magic. I'm saying is, like, if you're moving from USDC on base to PulseChain, right? Like, you're not the one encountering bridge risk once the Pulse is in your wallet. Like, if you're buying Pulse with USDC from base, once the Pulse is in your wallet, you're no longer worried about bridge risk, right? Whereas if it was bridging somehow, then that's a different thing.
Yeah, it's actually, the technical side of me wants to dig in that and be like, what are the different pieces? And how does that, help it be it could help it be safer to do and pieces too. By the way, I dropped a link to on Trustpilot for Liberty Swap Finance. If you've had a good experience with them, feel free to pump that number up to 5. We got 4.9 star, 198 reviews. If we pump that number up to 5 star,
looks a lot better than the Rabby Trustpilot.
Is that?
Just saying.
I've heard. Oh, what if we get back on DBank though? What if they come back? Then all the reviews will change when the facts change. There you go. Could be. So 4.9 stars.
I like that it shows. I know it's kind of harsh, but I like that it shows that like the PulseChain community has a bit of a hammer in their back pocket, right? Like it's good to be friends with the PulseChain people. It's bad not to be friends with the PulseChain people.
Is it? We're great friends. That we're trying to say.
Indeed. Great friends.
I like it.
Welcome to PulseChain. We love you. Where else?
I like the name too, James Hexkin. It sounds like a real name too. His name's like James. It's James Hexkin. I like it. Gents, where do you want to go from here? We got Sniper Swap. You want to see Sniper Swap? I think Kong's got some stuff to show us on it.
Yeah, show us bright shiny things.
Yeah, I got a new shiny object. I think I did a little showcase last time on RHMax's show. I'll do another demo here and kind of talk more about the swap interface and all that. But for anyone who doesn't know, there's a new product on PulseChain. The idea behind it is a sniper swap. So, and it is more than a sniper swap as well. Like you can use it for your everyday kind of transactions and stuff like this. So what I would say, first things first, is the design of this is essentially so people don't run into any failed transactions, right? So and I'll provide an example of this. Is like I know there's lots of fee on transfer tokens or fee on whatever, right? Whatever tax tokens are on PulseChain. When people go onto PulseX and if they don't adjust their slippage, the swap isn't going to work, right? So this, perhaps like if you're one of these project founders or you're trying to onboard people into like whichever coin, like people, they run into these little issues, right? Whether it's an old coin or whether it's a new coin, like sometimes there's these little like nuances, little things on PulseX that you have to like change around in the settings. This swap tries to just simplify everything for the user and make it so as long as they can click the swap button, it should work and it should go through and everything should be fine. I'll say as well, it's all using the same PulseX prices and pools and all that. So yeah, assuming that there is liquidity on PulseX, like you'll be trading in those same PulseX pools. Another cool feature about this swap is you can trade any token for any token as long as there's a pair that exists between the two tokens. So yeah, I would say for the most part, I think PulseChain, there's a lot of pairs on there. For the most part, I think most of the pairs, like mostly WPLS, maybe some Hex pairs, maybe PulseX pairs, things like this. But yeah, if you are swapping like PLS, as long as there's a pair for it, like you're not going to have any trouble buying into any token or anything like that. Another cool feature on this side as well, and kind of why I market it as like a sniper swap in a way as well, is you have a slippage toggle that'll let you go all the way up to 99%. So if you guys have ever, and I'm not support or against degenning or anything like that, but I know it's something that people do. And I know that, like, I think Solana had success on their chain with just kind of facilitating degens and degen volume and all that sort of stuff. So what I kind of wanted to do was have that same or very similar sort of platforms that Solana has and kind of bring it over to PulseChain and give people a nice, consistent swap interface where they can be more competitive than on PulseX, right? And keep in mind,
pause on the 99% slippage. Could you give an example of when it would be good to use 99% slippage, and maybe an example of when it would be bad to use 99% slippage?
That's a good point, Fast, and I should bring that up sooner rather than later. So slippage is a tolerance setting, meaning that it's essentially saying if you get 99% like 99% less tokens than what's being quoted here, you would still be happy with that trade going through. Doesn't mean that you're going to get filled at that price. It just means that if there is volatility, or if there is a price movement that happens between when you make your swap and when the swap is executed, if there's any volatility there, you'll have that tolerance, that kind of runway, that tolerance to kind of move through the price. So when you would want to have high slippage is likely pretty much the only time you'd want to use high slippage is when you're doing these like ultra competitive, maybe like new token launches, right? Because what we've seen is on PulseX, there's a UI limitation of 49% slippage. And for the most part, like you never need your slippage that high or higher than that. But what I will say is that we've seen these new token launches, and within like the first 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, like they'll go up maybe 200, 300, 400%. So if you have 49% slippage, your transaction isn't going to go through, because by the time your transaction's ready to be confirmed, your slippage tolerance, like the price is going to have moved, and you're going to actually gain or earn less tokens. And since your slippage tolerance wasn't set to a right amount, your transaction will fail. So kind of the point is like when you're sniping these tokens and when they're extremely volatile in like the first few minutes or first few seconds, likely you want to use a higher slippage rate. Always keeping in mind that you'll get filled at the best price no matter what. When you're doing everyday swaps, like you're swapping any token for any token, just everyday type of thing, you want to make sure to keep your slippage as low as possible, right? So this way you aren't getting like front run by MEV bots or sandwich attackers and things like this. One thing I will say about like the whole front run and all of that kind of mechanism is it really depends on how some of these guys have their bots set up and things like this. So if you set your slippage too high on PulseX, like chances are someone's going to see that transaction. And if you're doing a big swap amount and you have high slippage, like someone might front run you and essentially steal your value away in terms of like how much you'd slip the price. They'll kind of take that away from you in a sort of sense. So with this product, it's depending on how people have their things set up, but it will be slightly more difficult to kind of decode and look into you have to, it's extra steps to be able to front run someone using this swap interface as well. So I'll kind of say that I'm not going to say it's like fully MEV, like it's not waterproof against MEV attacks or anything like that. You know what I mean? What's MEV? 100. MEV is minor. What is it? It's either minor extractable value or minimal extractable value. It's basically when people are looking at your pending transactions on the chain and kind of exploiting. There's a few different they're exploiting the ordering of how blocks are and transactions are filled in blocks, causing if you let's say I'm doing a big swap here, and hopefully I'm doing a good job of explaining this, but let's do a massive swap here.
We're talking about bots, right?
Talking about
bots, like MEV bots.
Yeah, MEV bots. So yeah, if I had this price impact right here of minus 13% and I had my slippage set to 99%, especially on PulseX, this gives a MEV bot the opportunity to essentially front run you by buying before you buy, buying before your buy in the block, and then selling after your buy goes through, essentially stealing that 13% that you move the price up. So that's kind of what an MEV.
How do they buy before me though?
What they do is they look at how much you paid for gas and they outbid your gas price. So yeah. People, I'm not sure how much this happens on PulseChain, right? I'm not sure how much this happens on PulseChain. It happens for sure on Ethereum. That's why, if you are doing everyday swaps, you definitely want to make sure that you have a low slippage tolerance. But if you are in something extremely volatile, in the first few seconds of launch, you'll someone could front run you. Someone could just be trying to fill their buy-in regularly. But I think what's most important is also setting a high gas limit as well, because some of these bots, the higher you set the gas, the higher they're going to have to outbid you too. And of course, I think there's probably a diminishing return on that as well. I'm sure people can work around this if they really wanted to extract value from you. But just as a general rule of thumb, like, set a higher gas, lower your slippage for everyday swaps, and maybe even instead of doing like a swap like this, that's minus 13% price impact, split it up into smaller orders for your everyday transactions, and this will help prevent these MEV attacks and these front run sandwich attacks and stuff like this. But like I said, on PulseX, I think you are almost like, assuming you're doing the same slippage on both of these, like on PulseX and on Sniper Swap. Sniper Swap will be slightly more MEV resistant for what it's worth to you guys. But like I said, if make sure you have your slippage tolerance set accordingly, whether, higher if it's a newer token and, more volatile token when you're trying to trade it, and extremely low if it's not a volatile token, if it's not a new launch or anything like that. But I'll do a quick demo here. I'll kind of show you guys how it works. And I'll say too, is like, you can connect any wallet you want to the site. So whether you have like a MetaMask or a Rabby wallet or any sort of browser wallet will work. If you have like a Trezor, it will work. If you have a Ledger, it will work. So you do get like your full control over your keys, and you get the same, like I said, you get the same PulseX prices. So here I have the slippage set at 1%. I'll do like a 1000 PLS swap, and the MetaMask notification popped up. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like any other swap interface, right? So click the button, you hit swap, and then this will execute pretty much as fast as the blockchain, right? So there is like optimizations kind of on the back end of the website that helps with like figuring out the gas price, how much should you pay for gas to make sure your transaction is kind of filled before other people as well. There's secrets on this site. Like it's designed to give you a little bit of an edge, especially when compared to PulseX. But you can see here, transaction confirmed pretty much as fast as the blockchain can confirm it. And it's swapped my 1000 PLS. I got a little bit more incentive there. You can see my incentives in my wallet. And if I wanted to sell it, like very, very easy to do that as well, right? You can just click swap again. MetaMask notification pops up, confirm, like PulseX, like any other swap. And you just got to wait, right? Just as fast as the blockchain can confirm transactions. Another cool feature about this as well, and you guys can see it happened within the 10 seconds. So another cool thing as well about this site, kind of doing a little bit more of a deep dive, is it has a tax, kind of like a honeypot detector a little bit. So nice. I know some of these tokens that launch, like no one, I'm not going to mention any token names or anything like that, but I know there was a project that launched. They were advertising a certain tax rate in their Telegram. They were advertising a certain tax rate on their on their website. But then if you look into their contract, it's not what they were advertising on the Telegram. It's not what they were advertising on the website. And
I'm guessing it's the sell tax that was much higher than anticipated.
Yeah, about over double than what they were saying it was. So that's a problem, right? You shouldn't that shouldn't happen. That, in my opinion, is misleading. Something like this, if you're using PulseX, you have no idea what the token taxes are, right? Buy or sell, you have no idea, really. You'd have to go look at the website. You'd have to go look at the Telegram. This programmatically fetches it using a smart contract as well. So if you have maybe I'll do PDGC here, just for an example. But PDGC here, you can see it has the 5% buy tax and 5% sell tax. And this is live, up to date with the market, right? So if the contract, or if there's an admin owner or not renounced or something like that, and they do decide to change the taxes, you'll see it happen in real time, real time. Like you're not going to be surprised about whatever the taxes are. Like it'll be displayed here as soon as it's ready to be traded, those taxes will show up. So
that's a pretty cool feature. What if the contract's not verified? Can it still pull the tax percentages?
Yes.
And what would a honeypot look like in this case?
Honeypot, it would say and I might update the website a little bit, but it'll say it. The website will say it can't fetch the taxes. That's what I'll say as well, is like if you see a token and it's not saying, like, if it can't fetch the taxes, it could mean that it's not tradable. And I might update the website just with like an extra warning, with like, just to say
some flashing
taxes,
lights and sirens.
Yeah, taxes not detected, or like no, like, can't trade the token, taxes not detected, like things like that. So you can see here, like,
what does it say on PulseX? Like something that doesn't have a tax on it.
On PulseX, it just says like here, just no tax, just a nice little check mark and no tax.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, for tokens that aren't tradable, it'll say, you'll see an error, and it'll say token is not tradable. So yeah, there's going to be more stuff coming to the site as well. I don't know if I'm going to leak. I don't know if I'll say everything on the stream, but yeah, essentially, the goal of this as well is to just be as reliable and as consistent as possible for like the users and stuff. So I'm not trying to add all the bells and whistles right away or anything like that, but just keep it simple. You know, I don't think I reinvented the wheel or anything like that. But I definitely would like to just make swapping and make the whole like sniping process, even if that's what people want to do, a little bit easier and with a little bit less friction, and yeah, hopefully a little bit more reliably as well, with little tweaks on the features as well. So that's kind of the general overview. I'll mention the last thing here, and I will say there's a built-in trading bot wallet, and I think I'm going to update this and add some more like kind of security features to it as well. I'll say, like all hot wallets in existence, like all hot wallets are insecure, right? And I'm not telling anyone like, do not store your money on this, right? You use it to trade, and then you can, take the funds out of the wallet after you're done doing whatever you need to do. But it is an option for those like true degens. I know there are some people who don't want to go and click through the MetaMask and would rather, like, for example, here, there's the like, if you guys go into the setting module, you'll see an auto sign mode. If you turn on the auto sign mode, you'll be able to use it with your custom made bot wallet. And what this will let you do is, like, you can paste in a token contract address, and it'll submit a buy as soon as you paste in a token contract. So again, this, I wouldn't use it for like every day, nothing like that. It would just purely be like you maybe load it up with some PLS, you're ready to snipe a token. As soon as you get the CA, you can paste it in here. And I mean, that's faster than PulseX, right? I mean, assuming everything's all equal, everyone gets the contract address at the same time. Like, someone has to first paste it into PulseX, import it, click the check mark, click OK, change the slippage. This cool. Like, yeah, fully automated in that sort of sense. So
the bot, does that work by inserting a private key into it?
Right now, there might be a little bit of an update that gets put out to the wallet, but right now how it works is there's private key is generated for you using the Ethers library and Node.js. So essentially you get like it's a secure seed phrase and seed word and private key generation. Because I know there's insecure ways you can generate like keys and stuff, and I know, like, I think there's people
it's making
who have,
a new wallet every time. It's not using, you don't give it a private key for a wallet. So it's
you don't give it a private key.
Does it give you those private keys, or are they just in the ether somewhere?
You do have the option to view them, and I recommend, it's like you definitely want to write down your seed word and your private key, or at the very least, what I tell people is, like, when you get your private key, drop it into like MetaMask. Like, you can if you guys go to like add a wallet, yeah, you can click like add a private key and just add the private key into MetaMask. You can use the wallet like normal inside of MetaMask, and like,
but you're still not recommending they keep the funds.
No,
like it's
no,
trading
definitely
only,
not.
and then you move it out, right? Like,
exactly
in for 30 minutes, then out to your treasure, ideally.
Yes, exactly. So that's the key takeaway too, is like this auto sign swap, you're not keeping funds on there. And yeah, like you want the cold wallet. So
yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to keep a lot of funds on there. It's just purely for if you want that extra edge and there's like a token launching and there's going to be a token launching, you just want that extra little bit of speediness. Because here's another thing I will say about sniping tokens, guys, is like, in my opinion, it all boils down to how fast can you click the button and then how much gas are you paying as well, right? So the first person to click the button who pays the most amount of gas is effectively going to be the first person who's going to get their buys in. It doesn't matter like how fast your contract is. It literally, like, you could have the slowest contract that does 1 million actions. I mean, to an extent, right? Like, of course, you'd want to probably have that optimized too. But at the end of the day, like, the validators, what they're looking for, and assuming that it's like a free market in terms of like the validators aren't colluding or something like this, but assuming that they're just doing their thing, like, it's going to be the first person who pays the highest gas is going to get their transaction filled the first. And that's kind of what it boils down to. So that's what this auto swap feature, I'll say, is mostly for, is like, if you want to be one of the first people to click, buy or submit the buy with some of the ideally with some of the highest gas limits as well, chances are you can get in before a lot of people who have to, use PulseX and then click 4 buttons on MetaMask and then do all that sort of stuff. So
that's the trade-off. Like, there's not really you have to sacrifice some security for speed in this case if that's your priority. And the only way I can think of to be faster than this would involve probably running your own nodes or something like that. It would probably cost a lot of money.
That's the thing too. I agree. So that's the thing, is like, if you guys want to, you would need to, probably a little bit of infrastructure depending on how much time you want to spend on that.
Have to be a pro.
So yeah, and like, guys, what I'll say too is like, everything that's on this site, it's like, it's pretty much a sniper bot for a website, making it as easy for, the everyday user. I don't think it looks, in my opinion, I don't think it looks out of the ordinary. Like, it just looks like a regular
thousands
swap.
of dollars for stuff like this. I remember looking in the last market, because I was kind of into the, the sniping thing a little bit. I remember looking at bots, right? First off, most of them were scams, right? Like, it was like 80% scam ratio, not crypto Kong on the screen. Like, some guy trying to scam you when you actually drill down on the code and what it did. I don't believe this is that, my opinion. And then the rest of them, they're charging like $1,500. Like, you'd pay $1,500 to get the technology that Kong has just put on the screen for us here. How much do you charge,
keep in mind
Mr. Kong?
It's free to use in a way. Like, there's no subscription, but there is a fee. So it's 0.8%, less than 1%. If you guys have seen like some of the Solana swaps some of the Solana sniper bots over there, they're at 1% fees and they go up from there. So this is even more competitive with that. And there's no subscription. There's no like upfront cost. You just, if you decide to use it, if you want to use it, there is like a little fee involved. But other than that, it's kind of free.
Is that just for the bot portion, or is it for the whole package that we looked at today? Like, to use the front end in general?
To use the front end, like, you can check everything on here. Like, if you want to go and just see if a token has taxes, it's totally free. Yep. The only time you pay the fee is when you perform a swap.
Cool.
Yeah, and you're just paying a fee in whatever you're selling, essentially. So if you're, let's say, selling Pulse for, let's say, X protocol here, you would pay a little fee in Pulse, right? If you were doing this trade the other way around, you'd pay a little fee in X. That's all it is.
For the service provided, I think this is a good deal.
Thank you, Fast.
What do you think, Kong, too? I talked about this during the conference, I think, but just to give people who are, okay, they use Pidius, they use PulseX, they use different dexes and stuff. What situation would they be like, oh, I want to use Sniper Swap instead of using the other things they're used to using? Why would they be like, oh, no, I want to use Sniper Swap for this? Is there a couple examples?
I would say a very good example would be like for a new onboard, if you're trying to onboard them into, especially a fee on transaction token, this will almost ensure their transaction works 100% of the time. Like, assuming they're able to fill out how many tokens they like, assuming they, know how to fill out the amount of tokens here and click the swap button. I mean, you're not going to run into, the transaction will go through. It'll auto set your slippage. It'll auto set everything. And I'll show you guys that here is like, if I swap PDGC, it'll automatically set the tax rate plus 2%. And I might even lower that to tax rate plus 1%, just so it tightens it up a little more. But yeah, that'll make it, I think it'll make it easier for different projects on PulseChain, or just anyone in general who, like, if anyone has had any trouble swapping on, and I know Pityus doesn't even swap fiat transfer tokens, and then PulseX, like, sometimes you have to jump through a little bit of some hoops to make sure it works. This will this will just clean it all up for you and just kind of automate most of the process. So all you have to do is click buy, and you get the same PulseX prices. So
you guys ever had the experience where you're like, you buy some token and it's a tax token and you forget or don't know or whatever, and then you try to sell it on Pityus and it's like, what? I can't sell this token. Oh no, like what's going on? It's like that, and then you're like, oh, how do you sell that thing? Oh, you need something that supports it. You need kind of what you're talking about, Colin. Like you got to go to a place that supports it, PulseX, but then maybe you got to put the slippage up higher, all that stuff. Trying to give people like an idea of you can do it without these different platforms, but this is trying to simplify it and make it like, okay, if I know I'm going to need to use it with certain tokens or otherwise, this is set up to do it like that.
And yeah,
it's
and I think
like sniper bots are cool, right? Like new guys are gonna be like, yeah, I want to use a sniper bot because that's cool.
I want to be a sniper. There you go.
And I think that's a good point. I don't know. I'm how I look at things. I think everyone on PulseChain right now, for the most part, probably has their workflow of like they like PulseX, they like Pityus, they like doing whatever they do. I think everyone has their their key workflow. But I do think when we see that mass adoption and that mass kind of onboarding into PulseChain, I think people will like a smoother, simpler, easier experience. And then on top of that, it's like I don't have any evidence like right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's examples of people who have had trouble making swaps, gone into telegrams and gotten scammed and kind of been put off by it as well, right? Because nobody wants to get scammed. I don't think it's a good feeling if someone kind of joins into a community or a crypto and ends up kind of someone scamming them. So I think this it should eliminate that whole support process of anyone even having to ask like, why isn't this working? It should just work. So that's the philosophy behind it.
It's like when people are like, what's the bridge link to PulseChain? Let me Google it. No. I use GoRealDeFi.com. You don't need to Google. They could save you from getting phished. Kong's like, you know what? This is the platform to stop you from getting scammed on Telegram. So I like the analogy too. It's good.
And yeah, I think maybe I'll pull up one last thing here. I'll see if this works real quick. But yeah, here, we'll try this out.
Extra PulseX, any questions or ideas on this one before we move on after Kong shows this?
No questions. Fast did a good job of asking all the questions I probably would have asked and then some. I think it's pretty cool, Kong. It's cool that we're expanding, building, because you're right. People on Solana, those types of things really attract degens, and I think degens is a bigger aspect in cryptocurrency than people assume. And so I wish you all the best of luck with it, man. It looks cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I appreciate it. So I'll say maybe the last thing I'll touch on this platform is like, I know there's other swaps on planet Earth and on PulseChain and everything like that. I always say like, go check out the other prices or platforms, just see what they're, my understanding, this is supposed to be an aggregator. It's saying it analyzed 32 routes across 4 dexes, and it's saying it saved, what is that, 0.16% against PulseX V1. I guess that's true. But at the end of the day, like if I were to hit this swap, it's quoting me 48,000 hex and 48,002 hex for, this is 10 million pulse. On Sniper Swap here, that same 10 million pulse here, I can get a quote of 49,472 hex. And I think this price impact, I don't know if this tells me price impact, but I would guess that number is less than what GoPulse is showing. So I'll say that as well. Like, I don't know if what your guys' price targets is for hex or anything like that, but if it goes to $1, right? Let's say it goes to $1, like you have $1,500 extra dollars by performing this swap through the Sniper Swap relative to like, GoPulse. So I'll say that too, is like, check out the prices, make sure it's like, if it's a good deal for you or not. And yeah, you can use whatever you want. But I think this product gives you a good deal and a reliable and fast one too. So as fast as the blockchain can confirm it.
Sir, I think we've ran the numbers, and a 10,000x for Hex on PulseChain from the bottom is $36, I want to say. So you're over there talking about $1 Hex. I want to call that FUD real quick. Just want to make sure that's clear. $36 Hex would be 10,000x for Hex on PulseChain. What would be 10,000x for? Oh, dumb question. What's 10,000x for Hex on Ethereum? It's 50 some cents or so. Pretty good.
So yeah, even more. And then if we look at it like that, it's like even more savings too, right, guys? It's like 1,500 Hex. Like that could be worth a lot one day, right? So
you never know when you're going to see this hat too. By the way, you never know if at the next event, Max will be giving away hats that look very, very similar to this and other onboarding material as well. Never know. So man, that's where we order these at. You never know. Comments right there. 10,000x Club. Right? It's simple. It's already got a brand. it's got a recognizable brand, sort of. Trump could be a Hexagon. We don't know. So, I like it. The other thing I wanted to pull up was call to action. You guys like call to actions? Call to action for onboarding. I know this seems obvious, but do you realize there are millions of people out there hearing about crypto now and waiting for someone to tell them what the best one out there is? You could tell them about PulseChain, right? It really is that simple. There are people out there, especially now with all the different crypto news all the day and pro administration and all that stuff, who are out there curious or interested in making money. Whole new generations, people who haven't been around for a while that are coming back, and older people who got family members helping all this stuff out too. Instead of getting them into the next best dog coin, why not get them into Hex and the PulseChain? Do those X's. Could be real happy about that. So green candles are out there for you to light. You can get the little lighter. You can light each one by yourself, metaphorically, until Richard does it on stream one day, and you can be a part of that. So light those green candles. Right.
I will say, when Ethereum started to roll past $3,000, it was waking up a lot of the people that I onboarded into PulseChain, and I haven't heard from them in good couple of months, but they're starting to come back around, asking me, how are things looking? Should I get more? Should I get? And I can't obviously say, but I just basically say my strategy, and take that for whatever you will. And I think Ethereum finally moving, sparking life. I think that's a good thing for the markets overall, and I think PulseChain really has an opportunity to take the bull by the horns this bull cycle.
I like it. I want the bull and the horns. Maybe more the bull too. One last thing before we wrap up here. Hex or PulseChain? I posted this question the other day and got a lot of different answers. Some of you on the panel have joined the debate where we talked about Hex and PulseChain and Pulse and Ink token. You've had various opinions, which may be the same on that panel as now too. But what do you think? What do you think is going to do better? Just pure speculation, but what do you think is going to do better this bull run? Do you think Hex or PulseX? Whoever wants to kick it off.
I think there's a distinct difference between which one has the probability of doing better and which one will do better. You can make a case for Hex because of the liquid supply, and it's pretty scarce compared to the other tokens out there. But I think sustainability. I think PulseX is like the heart of PulseChain, and I think PulseX is bound to do well regardless of the core tokens, as long as there's volume coming over to PulseChain. I know that we've talked about previously, Whale could take over some capital to another aggregator, another DEX, and try to outcompete the founder for that position, but I just don't see it realistically happening. I think if you want to talk about league positioning as well, I think PulseX is better for that, especially for lower level investors, which, ideally Richard does a good job of targeting those investors as well. because they're looking to maximize their opportunity with the capital they have. And I think PulseX is also better for that, a better deal. Richard always talks about having the best deal, people working with him having the best deals. And so I think PulseX is that. And I think him mentioning it various times over the past 2 years, he even really kind of doubled down on it in his last video that he put out there, talking in depthly more about PulseX. So I don't know. I think the writing's on the wall that PulseX is the people's token right now. And eventually I think the other core tokens can have their narrative and take their place. But I think the real gains are in PulseX.
Any rebuttals?
I think PulseX has its place, to be sure, but you know, there's wild cards out there, and we can't necessarily just go off of what is. It's also what could be. I think that Ink is the most undervalued of the core assets, partly because it has the least that has been developed around it. So, you know, Hex, we know what that's all about. Pulse, we know what that's all about. PulseX, buy and burn, this and that. Lots of things going on there. But Ink does nothing. If that changes, number go up.
Go with the wild card on the Ink there. Nobody's going to defend Hex today? E-Hex is pumping out here in the chat.
Nothing wrong with Hex.
Kong's like, how do I make this case? How do I make this case? I was thinking about it.
It's a tricky question. It's honestly a really tricky question because I think they're both PXs look like it's been pretty strong, and same with PulseX looks like it's been pretty strong against Pulse as well. I don't know what's going to happen between those two. I wouldn't be surprised if we see even some sort of like oscillation between them where maybe like, I don't know, maybe Hex kicks off the PulseChain bull market and kind of rips up kind of like the Bitcoin, and then we see some of those funds, you know, get translated or transferred into PulseX and ratioed over into there, and you have, you know, that kind of second explosive move up for those other tokens as well. But yeah, I think we've seen it before where Hex kind of leads the way a little bit. I remember even eHex kind of leading the way in terms of like we saw it kind of make that first move, first 100% move, first 200% move, and then the rest of the ecosystem kind of follows behind it after. So yeah.
I'll say a few things on Hex quickly too. I think it's the easiest to understand, and it has the most like not only docs, but like the most written about it, the most streams, the most, you know, biggest sub community, like all that stuff too, or at least the ones who are like who have like made sure to make sure people know about it type of deal. And you could say it's the easiest to buy, is at least on the Ethereum side. And I don't know, it's already did the 10,000x before, which gives it some like confidence momentum too. I don't know. I love Hex token. I don't know when it's ever going to change from being my favorite token. And it's just been so like almost disrespected, like beaten down. It's been to the point where it's like, oh, it's Hex. It's just, yeah, everyone just dumps it and all that stuff. And the inflation, I think the staking is underrated too. It actually has a purpose, like versus PulseX. It's like way easier to be like, oh, I stake this, I earn yield over time, where I choose not to, where I choose one of the other 10 things built upon it. So and I think when the price goes up, the yield factor, even though the yield's been reduced a lot and which may change over the years and stuff as well, when the price goes up, the yield equals more dollars in Hex terms, or, you know, if when the price goes up and stuff. So that'll be a lot more game theory, I think, going on with Hex. So don't sleep on the Hex token. It's the oldest, most proven, and the easiest one to get into and understand. Versus, I mean, PulseX is amazing, but again, how much you like the ice cream? You like ice cream? They're all ice cream.
I'll push back a little bit on that because I think for retail, it's really not. I think Hex, like it really takes a lot of understanding of game theory. And I think when you're introducing words to what, like we're talking mass retail, we're not talking educated crypto bro, whatever, you know, understanding why inflation is needed and stuff like. You're talking to a crowd where they're surfing, they're looking, they're like, okay, what is interesting? Well, they understand burns, right? And I think they also understand that if there is liquidity somewhere, so burns, liquidity, and tokenomics. And the one thing that I will say is a little bit of a hindrance is if you look at the total supply, versus what the circulating supply is, minus what the OA has, that is one area where you could say or have pushback like, wow, it's a lot in supply and this, that, and the third. But if you understand that the OA doesn't sell the tokens, or if you're of that belief and you look at the circulating supply now, and we've had, not even a fraction of the trading volume Solana's had, and we've already burned through 7.5% of the circulating supply of tokens. I think that's very bullish, considering if we just took on maybe a fourth, an eighth of Solana's trading daily volume, I think we really start to see more PulseX being burned. And I think people will wake up a lot when you look over and, 25% of the supply is burned forever. And, I think that's going to cause major fear of missed opportunity.
I almost think that's an easier case to make to crypto bros, though, because it's like, okay, buy and burn. That sounds cool. But to the average person, they're like, I don't know. I just buy the thing and then something burns it. I guess that sounds cool. But the elevator pitch, I still think the elevator pitch for Hex is like, you stake it and you earn more of it. And the price went up 10,000x. I don't know. I just feel like if I'm in an elevator trying to onboard somebody in 10 seconds, which pitch am I going to go with if they're a normie? That's a great debate, actually. That's a great, I don't know. I like it, though. I like it. Great points. Gents, are you bullish on the PulseChain? The PulseChain in general? What do you guys want? Let's take us out. Let's go out with a PulseChain heat check. Like what's good on PulseChain? What are we feeling right now? Things feeling bullish in macros, but on PulseChain, have we stopped dumping? Has the community stopped? Let's say, how do I say this? Has the community stopped dumping the sentiment? Forget about the price. Has the sentiment stopped dumping? Have we bottomed? Don't want to jinx that one.
There's still some trolls holding on, but we need them to add color, like make it interesting. If everybody's bullish, then that might be the top. We still have enough that we know we're not at the top yet.
I'll share one last thing to kind of take us out here. I think it kind of ties into what you were talking about. I want to share this chart. Last time when we were on stream, Fast and I think Twinkie was on there as well, right? But I think he's gone now. Anyways, I wanted to share this chart. This is a kind of a cool chart. I don't know how many people have actually charted this. I'm sure lots have. I don't know about like on stream or anything like that. It's total 3 subtract stablecoins. So essentially looking at altcoins subtract stablecoins, right? And altcoins meaning like I believe that's excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, right? So just looking at altcoins, subtract the stablecoin portion priced in Bitcoin. And I hope this is making sense, but kind of the point is this chart goes to show if it's moving up, altcoins are starting to outperform Bitcoin. And when this chart's moving down, it means like the greater altcoin market has been underperforming or, going down versus Bitcoin. So it's quite interesting to see like from our 2018 bull market peak down to where we kind of made our it was technically the low, but it was also the reversal point, right? It was about 1,099 days. Currently, we've been in this like kind of downtrend of altcoins for 1,253 days. So I don't know, but based off of time, like when anything is going to reverse or anything like that. But this does look like it's starting to find a little bit of a low point, kind of make some green candles upwards. Kind of the point is I've done analysis and I don't know, I'm not going to go through it all here, but PulseChain really likes to mirror what happens in the greater kind of altcoin market, and what happens with like for example, the altcoin season index. Like if you pay attention to this thing, you'll kind of see PulseChain will bottom out at a very similar time as this and top out at a very similar time as this as well. So I'm taking a look at this. And here's the point I kind of want to take us out on here is PulseChain has been going down, but so have this is the trend of all altcoins, right? And here's the thing too, is it's easy to say, or it's easy to see, and it's easy to pick out the winners, and it's easy to see the winners because it seems like they get plastered all over the place, right? But there's probably been, and I want to say majority or probably millions of multi-millions of altcoins that have all been just bleeding out for the past 2, 3, 4 years in a row, right? So of course, like it would be great to see PulseChain kind of go against this trend, but at the same time, it's like I think PulseChain will follow it for the most part, and if we're seeing this kind of a potential reversal happen right here, right now, I think that's a very, very positive signal for the market. So and for altcoins specifically, and that includes PulseChain. So,
wow, I was just thinking of Ethereum. Okay, we do Ethereum end of year. Now that everyone's bullish, end of year. What do you guys think? Are we going to 10K? Are we going to 15K? I feel like I wouldn't be super surprised to see like 8, 9, 10K Ethereum.
I believe Ethereum probably goes a little higher than that. I think I think Ethereum is within the range. Like its tops could possibly be in that $15,000 to $20,000 range. Probably could be somewhere in the middle, maybe 17. That's the tops, right? I'm not saying you're going to make a trade off that or whatever, but I'm just saying it could possibly wick to those highs. And for PulseChain, that means I'm sure you guys can guess what that means. It means good things. Whether you think half the SAC funds are going to get dumped in, a quarter, a tenth, whatever it is, some money is going to come through on chain, and most likely they're going to be taking profits from Ethereum into other risk-on speculative assets, especially Richard Hart coins. That he's a proven crypto king in the space, and I don't think people are betting against him, even if they don't necessarily like him. So for that, I'm definitely bullish still.
Would it'd be handy if Ethereum could pump in multiples of 6,000, since each 6,000 is $1 billion in the SAC wallet. So like 6,000, 12,000, 18,000, 24,000, $4 billion.
The SAC wallet could DCA out
for me to keep track.
Could DCA into PulseChain the SAC wallet. Every 6K.
Yep.
Wow.
6K is a good number. It's a good start, but 18K is a better number. Or 24 or 30 or 36.
Yeah, it's mega bullish. I'm like, I usually avoid predictions, and I'm not making one here either, nor giving financial advice, of course. But I don't know. I would not be surprised at Christmas time if Ethereum was like 8, 9, 10. I dare I say 11. Like that would be, and then into 2026. That'd be interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin doesn't go quite to 240. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 200,000, 225 maybe, and then you see Ethereum take on a lot of that economic energy.
Yeah. You think it's got to happen first? Like we got to see Bitcoin go up to 200K before ETH starts. Like this is like kind of a little pump, but we're not going to see the big pump. We're not going to see the doubling or tripling until then.
I think possibly we see Bitcoin go to 150,000 before we see Ethereum go to 10,000. But I do think Ethereum and the altcoins do a more slingshot on the way up once Bitcoin's probably about 75% or a little higher of that until it's around its top, I'd say.
Bullish. I like it. Gents, thank you for coming on. Great show. Just at an hour and a half. Start with Kong. Where can people find you? TokenTrader.win. I can read your headline as well. But yeah, what do you want to take us out on?
Yeah, you can find me at CryptoKong145 on X and YouTube. Mostly active on X nowadays. Follow me over there. See if there's any new updates that come out. Just can kind of follow the development over there. And then check out the sniper swap at TokenTrader.win. And you can read the website. There's some cool stuff on there. And it's pretty much it. So, and I'll say too, I think it's StreamYard. My webcam, I'll say this for what it's worth. I had it off for like the past few days. It's because I don't know. Today, I think it's StreamYard bugging my webcam. So I hope I wasn't bugging anyone with. Looks like my webcam's a little messed up, but
made the bull market bring you a $15,000 computer and webcam. Remember that?
Yeah, right. I need a whole like server to run this webcam apparently. So
if you had just had one whole ETH, would you trade it for the best computer and webcam ever? One whole ETH, 15K. That'd be cool. Extra PulseX. I try to tag you on Twitter, and your handle on Twitter is not Extra PulseX.
No, it's right when it's funny. Yeah, I had another X account, and then that one got taken down. So the one that I made was kind of like, I wasn't really serious about getting back on X until it just happened one day. I was sort of floating through, listening to spaces, and then one day I decided to open my own, and then here we are today, I guess. Just from speaking, being in the trenches with the Bears, combating the Bears always. But yeah, no, I think. Well, first of all, my handle's made a bunch of numbers, but my Twitter name is Extra PulseX. You can find me most of the time there. A little bit in Telegram, but not so much. Too many bots, too many scammers. So I just kind of stay away from that most of the time. But yeah, on a bullish note, I think people have something to look forward to. I think if you're here after all of this time, congratulations. You probably weathered the worst of it. Not financial advice, of course, but I do think that the times are going to change for Pulse. And everyone who's in the community now and weathered the storms, got through the Bears, I think we're destined to win. And I think who knows? We might see the founder come back streaming, maybe not, but I think he's here with us in spirit. And I'm glad to see that he's paying attention, because he's big on community, and I wouldn't be surprised if not participating in stuff, it's really kind of driving away at him, making him crazy and stuff. But I do think the community as a whole is in for something great, and I'm glad to be here with you guys and being a part of it.
Glad to have you, man. Great stuff. Yeah, I first came across Extra during I saw a clip of the spaces and all that stuff, and he was super bullish on PulseChain. Like, this guy said some interesting stuff. We should talk more. And then, of course, if you go to the debates on the playlist, he's also you represented. Was it PulseX? Was it PulseX? I want to say.
Yep.
At the debate. So there you go. Pretty fun. Debate season. We still might have some more. We had a little bit. We had a baby 30-minute panel. We had a little bit of debate at the conference, but we'll see. When it pops up, get excited again. Should be fun. Fast Abdul. This man's everywhere. 3 streams a day half the time. Changes his background and his clothes anytime he wants. And he just disappeared.
Follow. For a good time. Follow Fast Abdul on Twitter.
Show off the awesome background.
I like it.
I can also be found on Telegram and other places. Lots of scammers out there. Be careful. I will never DM you.
Never DM. Hashtag never DM. Kong, I made I forgot to bring it up, but I made I was like, Manus, make a sniper swap for this and PulseChain gradient with Yellow thing based on sniper swap URL, and it made a few, and that was the best one. So
that's pretty sick.
Just for fun.
The post on X, right?
Yeah, the post on X, just for fun. Yeah. I was like, sniper swap. So there you go. I don't know. Yeah. Don't need to use it as a logo or anything. It could be a lot better, but I was like, oh, cool. Manus is really good at images. I like this thing. It's really good. So. Anyways, everyone, that is all we got for you today. Happy weekend. Hope you have a great time. I might be streaming. We'll see from time to time. But that's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555 and 1. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa!